is something we need. It's a leap of faith. Oh, if you have the will and the moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
We start our walk from a free car park in the charming small village of Limekilns. Unlike the neighbouring village of Charlestown, which we will visit later in the walk, Limekilns is an old settlement dating back to the 14th century. In its early days, Limekiln was mainly a fishing village, with the large natural harbour sheltered by a rocky ridge, providing docking facilities for small to medium transport and cargo ships. From here, ships traded with the ports in the Baltic Sea and France until the 17th century, when the Union of the Crowns saw the royal interests move south to London. In the early 14th century, there was a port for the town of Dunfermline called Gillettes at the site of the current settlement in Limekilns. This served as a principal port for the town, which lies a few miles inland. The importance of the local limestone became clear quite early in the village's history, being used both as a fertiliser and for the manufacture of mortar used in the construction of stone buildings. Workings using kilns fuelled by charcoal and later coal to convert lime to quicklime grew up, with the product being exported from the port along the east coast of Scotland. Today, the only tangible legacy of this industry in the village is the name Limekilns. In the 1750s, the lime industry transferred a mile or so west along the coast to Charleston. For many centuries, Limekiln was also the northern terminus for a ferry linking it to Bo'ness on the southern side of the Forth. This found an echo in Robert Louis Stevenson's Kidnapped, and it was from Limekilns that David Balfour and Alan Breck were carried across the Forth in a rowing boat. Soap was also produced from a soapworks. The soap sheds still exist and are used as storage facilities. Years of industrial decline meant that most of these industries were lost, and Limekilns became yet another sleepy coastal village. As we wander through Broomhall Estate, it's worth taking note of Broomhall House. The house is a significant building in the history of Scottish architecture and one of Scotland's grandest houses. It has been a private home for more than 300 years and continues to be lived in. Cherished and cared for by the family of King Robert the Bruce. The house began life in 1702 during the time of the Stuart dynasty, built to the designs of Sir William Bruce and set within a working estate of around 2,500 acres. Charlestown was established in 1756 by Charles Bruce, the 5th Earl of Elgin. The planned village is laid out in the shape of a letter C and E for Charles Elgin. It was established as a harbour town for the shipment of coal mined on the Lord Elgin's Fife estates and for the production of lime. that harbour's outer basin was built around 1840. In 1887, on the occasion of Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, the Queen's Hall was built at the village centre to designs by Robert Rowand Anderson. Shipbuilding was carried out at Charlestown in the 19th century, as well as shipbreaking. Some of the German Imperial fleet were brought here from Scapa Flow after World War I to be broken up. The 14 massive lime kilns built of dressed sandstone are a remarkable feature of Charlestown. They are regarded as one of the most important Industrial Revolution remains in Scotland, and indeed the United Kingdom, being a Scottish Category A listed building. Built into the hillside below the village, they form a stone facade 110 metres long by 10 metres high. They are in a generally stable preservation, with many features relating to the operation of the kilns still in situ. Most of the kilns were refaced, probably in the 19th century. The kilns were built by Charles Bruce, the 5th Earl of Elgin, in the late 18th century. They were the largest group of lime kilns in Scotland, producing a third of all lime production, and were particularly important to agriculture for soil improvement, but also for building work to produce mortar, plaster, and other lime-based products. Through the late 18th and 19th century, the kilns were part of a major industrial complex of the time, including coal mining, ironworking, and salt extraction. Coal and limestone were brought in from the local quarries, also on the Earl's estate. The adjacent harbour was also built by the Earl and used for transporting the lime products, limestone, and importing coal. There were local railway lines, also a railway link to Dunfermline. Around the lime kilns there were many ancillary buildings. These have almost entirely gone. The operation ran down from the 1930s and finally closed in the 1950s. Some of the off-road paths in the village reflect aspects of the past. For example, Shell Road and Lime Brae indicate the routes over which these materials were transported in the past. Craw Road and Rocks Road refer to the avian inhabitants and underfoot surface respectively. The run refers to the route by which surplus water was run off from the upper part of the village and down to the sea.
It's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. Oh, it's a beautiful world out there. And just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. Oh, if you have the will